Hey everyone, it's the Shnakey back again with another video, and I'm bringing some Fight Night Champion gameplay here today with Butterbean taking on Isaac Frost, the lowest versus the highest rated character in the game. I'm playing as Butterbean here on the greatest of all time difficulty, and I just want to kind of show you that if you have your plan laid out and you know what you're doing, you can actually quite easily beat Isaac Frost with a little practice. Isaac Frost is well known to a lot of us from the Fight Night Champion mode that's in the game, where he's the sort of final boss. He's the antagonist of the story, and he goes down as probably one of the most frustrating and difficult fights in the game. But as you get better at the game and you kind of understand the mechanics, he's quite easy to actually fight through, and realizing that there's no point of even engaging with him in the first few rounds. You're not going to be penalized if you don't even throw one punch. So things like that, learning stuff like that as you go on is key. But here in Fight Now mode, if you, as I said before, if you've kind of got your strategy laid out and you're sparing with your stamina and you stick to your game plan, you can get Isaac Frost out of there in the middle to late rounds. It's been a while since I've had some Fight Night content on my channel, but I thought I'd bring it back to you again, especially with all the buzz now surrounding whether there's going to be a new boxing game coming out. It doesn't look like there's going to be any sort of an announcement at E3, which I'm kind of disappointed about, but I feel it's going to be another year or two before EA maybe realizes the value in making another boxing game, but they're going to stick with their UFC games for the moment because they are their cash cow. They're making money from those, although we haven't seen one yet, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I think there has been a new one announced, or there's a new one on the way. Fight Night still holds a really special place in my heart, though, as just graphically and mechanically a very fun game to play, and just presented really well. I mean, you can see this gameplay footage here, it still holds up really well. So yeah, as I said, I'm taking Butterbean here, and I wanted to show you that you can get the win with the lowest rated character in the game. Not particularly effective there. That is not what you want Isaac Frost to do to you. You don't want him to back him. You don't want him to back you into a corner. You want to stay moving all the time and bang the body, because his stamina is really poor. As you can actually see here, by the end of the first round, I have more stamina than Isaac Frost, and you can see the massive difference there between the body types that we have with Butterbean and Isaac Frost. So I'm staying on the outside. I'm not fighting like Butterbean would normally fight. Anyone who's seen Butterbean fight before will know that he's a slugger, he's a brawler, he wants to get in close and throw big haymakers. That's not how I'm fighting here. So as I've got Frost tired there against the ropes, you can see his stamina is way down. I actually can capitalize on that and actually knock him down. So it's all about combination punching in this game. People do not realize that you can throw big haymakers, but they end up sapping your stamina and they're not going to be as effective. They're also slower with lower rated fighters like Butterbean, so you're better off to string some combinations together like I did just there, and you're going to end up doing a lot more damage. So I'm going to continue to stick to my game plan. When you knock an opponent down in Fight Night, whether you're playing online or you're playing against the computer, you have to keep your head cool, because if you go right after them straight away, you're only going to end up getting yourself knocked down. That's kind of the same thing in a lot of boxing and real boxing matches as well. You'll see a lot of guys will go straight after somebody and they're going to end up getting hurt themselves. So you can see here, Frost has got me, and I'm using my pump block defense. So basically I'm pumping the block button to avoid his punches. Now you can, with an opponent like Frost who throws a lot of heavy punches, he's got kind of a rhythm that he punches to, and you can kind of time that and get into the habit of blocking the punches as they're coming, because Butterbean's head movement isn't really there, so you're not going to be weaving out of the way of many of his punches, so you just kind of got to stay on the outside, which is kind of difficult because, again, he's a lot taller than I am, so I'm just trying to stay away from him basically and not get hit. In terms of a new Fight Night game, I would love to see one happen. Whether it's going to come from EA or not is very debatable, because I think EA kind of got tired of the whole going to each individual boxer and asking for their license or having to get their license. And as far as I know, their license for boxers like Mike Tyson has expired now as well, so they're going to have to go and renegotiate a deal again to get him on board. And obviously, if you're making a boxing game and you're going to include the heavyweight division, you're going to want Mike Tyson in your game. End the second round there. Frost still looking okay. No, I haven't hurt him, I haven't cut him up that badly, but as you can see, his stamina is still going down, and that is another key thing I want to talk to you about. When you're playing Fight Night Champion, if you go out there and try and blast your opponent away, you're going to end up getting sleeped. You're not going to last the fight, because your fighter's going to run out of stamina. You have to basically be clever with your stamina. So as you can see here, I'm not throwing loads of punches at once. I'm throwing combinations of maybe 2 or 3 max, and then I'm stopping and let my stamina recharge again, and I'm also staying out of the way of his body punches. But the computer basically calculates how much stamina you're going to regain based on how smart you box. So the way to box smart is to throw small combinations or short combinations with 1 or 2 punches, or 2 or 3 punches, and stick to that and stay out of the way of the body attack. And if you box smart like that, then you're going to get a good bit of stamina back in between rounds, which Frost isn't getting at the moment because he's kind of missing a lot of shots. Now he's hitting me with some here because he's got me in the corner, but I want to get out of that corner again and keep moving away from him, because the computer will try and trap you in the corner with Frost and bulldoze you. But if you're a little bit more experienced about it and you can avoid his punches and weather the storm, then you can counter attack to his body and end up gassing him out. So Fight Night Champion, I don't know what they're going to call the next boxing game if EA release it. Fight Night Champion Round 2, Fight Night Champion 2. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but it's just not looking likely at the moment. I know there are a few other boxing games being worked on, but it's going to be hard to kind of beat the quality of the Fight Night games. They had their formula and they stuck to it. Fight Night Round 4 and Fight Night Champion are obviously built on around the same sort of an engine, and you can see that in kind of their presentation. They made some tweaks to lighting and stuff like that and skin, but overall it's kind of, they just tweaked the mechanics that were there already, and they got rid of the system where you had to block individually to your head and to your body. So you had to move the analog stick up and down to block the different segments of your body, which I thought was good. But in Fight Night Champion, you just hold down the right trigger and you kind of block everywhere, which makes it more accessible to more players, but was exploited a lot online, and you could come up against someone who was pumping block all the time, or they picked a character with a really good defense and it was really hard to penetrate their defense. And there are some fighters like that in the heavyweight division that had a really good defense and also really high power rating, so it was really hard to actually hurt them. And they had a good chin as well. I think Rocky Marciano was one of those fighters, so if you pick Rocky Marciano, you could get a pretty easy win for yourself. So I'm still working on Frost here, and I'm again staying away from him. I'm not engaging with him. He won the first round on points there, I think, from the scorecard, but I'm doing the smarter punching and I'm using my movement. You can see there I'm weaving in underneath his punches, and as his stamina starts to go down, once the computer goes past that quarter of a stamina point, and even as opponents online go past that quarter of a stamina point, your boxer just gets significantly slower. People think it's like once it goes past the halfway point, even a quarter of the stamina going, especially with a boxer like Frost, you really do notice it, and your punches become a lot less accurate and you don't have the counter punch windows that you had before. So it's really, and he caught him with a really good shot there, and I'm going to capitalize on that now, I think. Or do I? Maybe I play with him a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, like, Frost is a 95 rated character and Butterbean is 76, I think, is it, or something like that. He's pretty low anyways, I can't remember his exact rating, but make quick work of him, and that's because I'm not engaging in a brawl with Frost. I'm working on the outside and I'm really kind of exploiting his stamina weaknesses that he does have. He gets up here, yeah, he does, he gets up here again, so I have to try and put him away once more. Also, the thing you'll notice with these higher rated fighters, whether you're playing in the legacy mode or you're playing Fight Now, is some boxers just can get up an insane amount of times. I think I've seen guys get up 4 times, especially in the legacy mode, which I actually went back to play there recently and really didn't like the experience at all. I hated the training modes. I basically just went and did open sparring all the time, but the training modes were really poor. And the thing that I noticed was I protected myself really well throughout my career and I was constantly weaving out of the way of punches, but yet I still had to retire early because I apparently took too much damage, and that was apparently one of the big I suppose criticisms of it, that it just there wasn't enough range and it was very limited in terms of its presentation, in terms of the opportunities that you could do. The career mode on UFC is a lot better, and I'm hoping again, if EA ever decide to do another Fight Night game, that they will implement a lot of the mechanics they had in that game. He's really working on me here now, softening me up. But again, you see, because his stamina is so much lower than mine, he's not able to put together enough punches, and I can just weave right back in there and I can end up taking him out, which I think I do here after I play with him a little bit, as you can see there. But yeah, I end up taking him out here. I think this is coming towards the end of the footage. But as you can see, guys, the reason I made this video today was just a little bit of a general talk about Fight Night and what I'm hoping for the next game, but also just to show you that you can, with Butterbean, pull off some pretty impressive wins, and maybe I can actually show you a fight online as well where I'll try and pick Butterbean and try and beat someone. although it's harder to do that nowadays because the people that are left playing Fight Night, like myself, have just been playing it for a very long time, and the skill level is really high. I wouldn't even consider myself to be a very good player, but some of the people you meet there are crazy good, so I don't know if that's going to work. So we get the win over Isaac Frost against we get a win over the highest rated character in the game, who is apparently untouchable, and we get that win using Butterbean, who's the lowest rated character in the game, so it can be done. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please leave a like and a comment, and if you want more Fight Night Champion footage, let me know, because I really enjoy making it. I'll see you in the next video.